Well, good morning, everyone. Today, our topic is video on or video off. Now, for me, this is not something I have thought about as in depth as this tweet thread, made me think about last night. Part of it is the setup. In my district, we have our um, etiquette, our norms for being on Zoom or being on Google Meet among the teachers, that it's mic off and video off. And the clear reason for that is, first, mics on in a big meeting is problematic. Even small noises create a problem for the meet. But the other reason is bandwidth. I mean, we've, for instance, had a superintendent's meeting the other day that I'm sure we had 1,000 people on it, and having all that video, and if we had sound on, it would be a total mess. So our norm is video off, mics off. We have had no guidance at my level, anyway, the middle school level, about students should have their video on. I love it when the students have their video on. I had a student yesterday that was so cute. She turned her video on just for a little bit, and I could see that she was still in bed. She was taking the class in bed, which, I mean, obviously that would be like totally unacceptable if we were living in normal times. But guess what? We are not living in normal times. So, anyway, I was pleased that she, for 5 seconds, showed me that. Um, but people in this thread are taking this question seriously. What are the pros and cons of having video on? Now, um, let's, if we can go, this one begins to move to it. Some districts are requiring it, meaning video on, and popping into classes. I'll take a write up because I'm not going to mandate cameras. I know when we return, we're not even going to mandate masks. Well, that's not my district. My district does not mandate camera on, but it is going to mandate masks on. And in fact, the way that I understand the plan is if we get pushback from students, then we're just going to say, well, you're obviously not ready for in-campus, on-campus learning, so you're going back to online. So are you going to wear your mask or not? um, and gosh, I should have marked these. Um, so here's a person, Brendan, saying it's about compliance, control, establishing, or really continuing the hegemony teachers or schools or districts want to have over students. I don't ask my 12th graders to have their camera on, but it's nice when I get to see them. I definitely agree with that last part. I love it whenever they turn their camera on. And let me mention, I've had zero problems. Zero. Um, well, I shouldn't say zero. I do have a little bit of problems with people doing stuff on their mic. And of course, in the chat, I also have a few students that do some things, have some side conversations that I have to nip in the bud. And essentially, I just tell them that the chat is for classwork, because they get into who knows what kind of conversations. I can't even tell where they're going some of the time with these conversations. But anyway, I just nip it in the bud. But that's the full extent. I am not worried. I mean, this is so easy. The classroom management piece, it is so easy. I have just literally no problem with this. Um, but I would love it if they all had um, their cameras on, but that's not the reality. And some of these I think are going to talk about it. Um, so this person states it in a little bit more positive way. In my classroom, having cameras on is not about attendance, ensuring engagement, but about connection and social emotional health. Kids need to be able to see each other and feel some sense of normalcy. I want to be able to match a child's face with their name as I build relationships online. So I think that's a fairly positive way to look at the camera on question. Um, but I mean, one of the things that, you know, I now know my students by their icon. It's a little crazy. Um, their little guinea pig holding a heart. you know, it's like I say, it's a little crazy, but um, but I understand where this person is coming from. This person I totally agree with. Unpopular opinion. If you have to see them to keep them present and engaged, you're doing something wrong. And I totally concur with that. I teach middle school, and it's hard to keep kids engaged in the classroom. So in this situation, it's like a miracle whenever you feel like you've got most of the class engaged. Well, I've got more or less 90% of students attending in some form or fashion. They at least clicked on the link. Whenever they're in class, they might be in class, but I'm not positive I've got anywhere near that amount engaged. I mean, definitely minds are somewhere else. These are seventh graders. So I'm feeling rather good about our level of engagement. And I have lots of people obviously doing their assignments and that sort of thing. So there are people on the other end of the spectrum where they're not at all engaged, but probably because of home issues, internet, things like that. That's definitely a problem too. This teacher, she has to disagree. She definitely believes in camera on. She teaches dance. How can I correct them if I can't see them? And I think it by the same token, elementary school is a different kind of a situation. One of my favorite videos right now is a kindergarten. In fact, there are two of them, two different kindergarten teachers teaching their classes with an amazing amount of energy. But pretty clearly, they've got to have the camera on to be able to get anything done at all. So that's different. Different than middle school, different than high school. Okay. Um, so with this one, I think this teacher is expecting kind of a normal classroom situation. Like, I call their name and they respond. Well, the reality is that they aren't always going to do that. Um, so yeah. Uh, okay. So right here, and let's see if I can get this thing to pop up. I saved this last night also. I think that this is a good guide for being able to talk about this question. And we still, let's see, can we get enough? Yeah, okay. So don't do this. Don't connect students' video use and eye contact time to participation points or attendance or grading. if they are doing the work, the way that it works in our classroom is if they come to the meet, they are present. If they are doing work, they are present. We're not trying to find ways to exclude students and say, oh, you're absent. Why would we do that? I mean, number one, that's so super punitive. Number two, I mean, that's the way we get funding is having class students in our classes. So why are we going out of our way to shoot ourselves in the foot so that we can lose our funding? That makes no sense either. So anyway, if you get the opportunity, looking at this, I think is a good guide for, and let's see, this also brings up some of these why does it matter issues. Students might be uncomfortable displaying their living room to their peers. On Facebook, just a moment ago, I saw a picture that was intended to be comical, but it probably comes true that here you have a elementary school student with her camera on doing her lesson, and mama is getting dressed in the background. And now she wasn't naked, but she was getting dressed. And people get unconscious about things in the background. So safety. They may not, students might not want their image captured, recorded, or shared. Uh, I mean, there is a thing called cyberbullying. Equity. Students might have unreliable internet access, low bandwidth, devices without video capabilities, or limited access to a device. I have students fairly often, and in fact, yesterday, that she had to let me know that she was not, that her bandwidth, she didn't put it this way, but she said that her internet wouldn't allow her to join the meet, but that she was doing her work and she just wanted to let me know. She sent me a Hangouts chat. And personal, students might feel shy or anxious to be on camera. I have students that are completely not shy and they leave their camera on. That is not the main. That does not happen in the main. Most um, are going to be either shy or reticent. This is the question, or this is the statement I like least. But I don't like teaching to blank screens. In that Twitter thread, there are a bunch of teachers that said that, but I don't like teaching to icons and blank screens. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Teach students to set up their Google Meet or Zoom profile with a Bitmoji, a school photo, or a favorite selfie. All of my students are trained to have an icon of some sort. And, and every once in a while we'll see inappropriate. I haven't seen any inappropriate ones during distance learning, but in the classroom, I saw a few that I had to have them correct their icon. But there will be somebody to talk to. So, for instance, my real advice to that teacher that feels this way, but I don't like teaching to blank screens, start a vlog. Okay? I am talking to a blank screen right now, and I'm doing just fine. Okay? I can perform as a teacher with or without my students' eyeballs seeing me. I think that they are seeing me. I might not see them coming back because they're an icon or a Bitmoji or something else. But I know they're there, and I definitely do not have a problem with that. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. And if we can find one or two more that are worth looking at. Yeah, this person is kind of on target. I think part of this is self-projection because um, as we know in a PD that is distance learning, asynchronous, that we know that when we turn off the video, that means we can do something else during the PD. Well, let me tell you, if your class and your level of classroom engagement is as low as some of these PDs are, then yeah, your students are playing video games, right? Now, let me tell you some other interesting stories. So, for instance, I have students that ask to go to the bathroom. You know, I mean, their video is not on. They have an icon up. They still ask to go to the bathroom. I have students that they've completed all of their work and they ask if it's okay to play a video game. They've got all of their work done. There's a certain kind of video game. I teach typing as a part of my class, and there's are games that improve typing skills, and I let them do that. So indicators that there's actually pretty good engagement out there if I'm just watching for it. All right, well, we're getting a little long here, and I'm not seeing I put I favorited the ones that I really wanted to talk about. So maybe we've already hit them, or it may be that there are 500 new comments here and I haven't seen them. So we'll just go back to Gina's original question. So it's a very interesting question. We come at it from different ways. I unconditionally am in the direction of it's just fine to have your video off. And I wish that it was on, but it's understandable. So my comment to Gina was thanks for asking the question. This sounds like an interesting topic. I'm going to do a vlog about it. I hadn't even considered the possibility of requiring video, but I also think it is my responsibility to make the class engaging. And I am betting that you are making your classes engaging, and maybe you could drop a comment or two about how you are doing that in this day of COVID distance learning. Have a great day and keep on teaching.